I played a lot of video games ranging from FPS, RPG, cozy games, survival games, racing games, you name it, I've likely played it, and here are my top 5 favorites of all time. Starting off strong in 5th place is Borderlands 1, although I love all of the extended universe of Borderlands and the sequels that came after. I've played through all of them. I think Borderlands 1 is still the best one that I've played from start to finish. It was the first game that my husband and I played as a couch co-op. It's the OG looter shooter. There's so much mayhem to be had. The character builds, each sequel does this so well, but they have so many fun character builds that just like, as you get amazing loot drops, the damage numbers just keep dialing up and dialing up. I can't wait for the next release. I would play all of these again, except for the pre-sequel. Fuck the pre-sequel and all of those fucking jump pads. Although Nisha was my favorite character of all of the extended universe. So I'm pretty bummed that it was in that game. But that aside, I can't recommend Borderlands enough. In 4th place, I have Animal Crossing. Switching consoles like entirely here, Animal Crossing was absolutely the game of the season when everyone was in the midst of the pandemic. I mean, there was so much richness to this game because everyone was stuck at home. You were looking for that connection, and there was so much enjoyable world build of the New Horizons that like, it was just chef's kiss. I thought it was a great game from start to finish. You know, I think that they probably could have done a little bit more to keep the user engaged. Like by the time I finished collecting all of the items around my island and setting up my island the way that I wanted it to, I just felt like there wasn't a whole lot left to do. So I wouldn't say I was a huge explorer online. I didn't go to a lot of islands other than to like do the turnip trade and try to get, you know, do the turnip stock exchange, etc. But otherwise, you know, I played online occasionally with my friends, but I still felt like at a certain point, there just wasn't much else to do. But the collection part of it was so fun. I loved, you know, going around my island and collecting all of the bugs and the fish and the wildlife, and then getting to go into the museum, especially because I was stuck in, you know, my 4-wall apartment in New York City. It was amazing getting to have like this entire world that I got to go into in the peak pandemic days. Just like flex, all of my characters on my island were in the S tier of characters. So Marshall stand all day long. Coming in at number 3 is Baldur's Gate. This is built on the foundations of D&D. It's a turn-based game and, dare I say, perfect CRPG. I thought it was fabulous. I enjoyed this game immensely start to finish. My husband and I played this as a couch co-op. We started it over again with brand new characters. I mean, there was so much to explore in this game, from the story build to the character arcs to the different choices that could happen. I mean, the role-playing possibilities in this were endless. You know, there were a plethora of outcomes that could go any way depending upon small communication decisions that you make. I mean, even like stealing from someone's pocket accidentally. Also, there were ways to hack the game very early on by stealing stuff from people that you weren't supposed to even have or get until end game. So, you know, at one point I ended up with this like insane sword that we just farmed the drop until we were able to steal it. And it like carried me the whole game, and it was so fun because the damage numbers were amazing. You know, I would just go in and like blow shit up, which was so fun. I thought that the playstyle was a massive improvement to Divinity Original Sins 2, the studio's previous game. My husband and I played through that, and to be quite honest with you, like, we had to restart that game so many times in the like first like section of that game, because we were like, we have no idea what the fuck we're doing. And it was very confusing. And I felt like Baldur's Gate it did the right amount of hand-holding to get you to the next point, but allowing you to make decisions that could absolutely make or break your game. If you're looking for a really good couch co-op, I highly recommend this one. It's easier than a first-person shooter because you're not in immediate combat. Everything is going to be turn-based, which keeps the game play and the flow just a little bit less stress. And at number 2 is Hogwarts Legacy, and I know I'm going to get some shit for this because I think there were people who didn't love this game and felt like it fell short, but for someone who has been a huge fan of the Harry Potter universe significantly in my adult life, I thought this game was chef's kiss. Like, I am such a huge Harry Potter fan that getting to experience the world through the game format, it surpassed all of my expectation. There were multiple times my jaw dropped when the seasons would change at Hogwarts. I was just like, oh my God, the landscape is stunning and the visuals are stunning and the storyline was so much fun and I thought the pacing was good. And to be honest, like playing it solo, I liked that I was able to dial back a little bit. Like, you know, the spells, yeah, maybe they were a little bit too easy. You know, once you get to a certain point in the game, things do get a little bit easier and, you know, the spells are kind of cracked, but I don't know. I love that about it. I found it so satisfying. I love being able to fly on the different mounts and fly on the broom, and I cannot wait for the next installment. And a couple of quick honorable mentions because it was really hard to whittle down to 5 games. SSX3, don't come for me, but I genuinely think this is the best racing game that has ever existed. The tricks, the slopes, the music, the attitude, and you can even punch someone who's getting in your way. Like, you can literally punch the other character in the game. What more do you want in a racing game? And I think Palworld deserves to be mentioned here too because it was such a fun release, such an amazing world build. Was it a copy of Pokemon? No. Were there things about it that made it similar? Gotta catch 'em all. Yes, and yes, some of the pals were similar to Pokemon. I get it. I get the qualms that people had with it. I thought it was a really fun game. I loved collecting all of the pals, of course. I loved the survival aspect of it as soon as you drop in. And like I said, like the world build was so beautiful and so fun to get to explore. I think the place that they fell short was in the storyline. Unfortunately, I just felt like they didn't have, I mean, there was no storyline is what it boils down to. There was nothing that was sort of moving the game forward. That said, once I build out my new like desktop and PC situation for the upcoming Borderlands, I am planning to go back in and replay. All right, and for number 1, and I don't think I've ever seen this on anyone's list. For me, my favorite game that I've ever played of all time, and I will always, like the hill I will die on, I will always go back to, is The Hobbit from 2003. Hobbit was released by Inevitable Entertainment in 2003. It came out on GameCube, and that is in fact where I played hours and hours and hours of it into the evenings. For me, there are so many things about this game, but the nostalgia factor is definitely top tier for me. I think that combination of it being this adventure game, the iconic storyline, you know, this is before the Hobbit expansion came out on for folks to see in theaters. You know, really, if you knew The Hobbit, it was because you had read the book. I just felt like it made for hours of fun play. And I did. I spent so many hours playing this game, going around and doing all of the collections and completing the storylines and doing all of the different levels. I mean, it was so fun and so satisfying. When I moved to New York, I actually got an old Xbox and I replayed this as an adult. I replayed The Hobbit as an adult. And honestly, still slaps. From start to finish, I had the best time. The nostalgia was so fun to just like experience that world again. But also the gameplay is really, really fun. Having to sneak around and hang with the other hobbits. It just, yeah. And, you know, seeing the trolls, etc. I don't know. There's just something so magic about it that I can't put my finger on. But 10 out of 10 for me. I love it. I wish that they would remaster it for up-to-date consoles. And yeah, that's my list of 5. So would any of these make your list? And what should I play next?